when I look at his chart, I almost get the interpretation of the whole story is just interpretation of his chart, almost the whole Lord of the Rings. But here he would be the Capricorn with a Pisces moon and a Virgo rising by Northern Hemisphere chart. Capricorn, not known for its really imaginative nature. In fact, a lot of Capricorns and Earth signs don't like the Lord. It's just physically gross. They don't get into the imagination around it. But not all, but a lot. But this Earth ascendant, or Capricorn sun in the fourth house, and the Pisces moon. Maybe the Pisces moon could bring in some of the weird adventures or sense. But if you switch the signs, look what happens. You have the sensitive Cancer, and the with the sun in the fourth house. Gemini and the IC with Mercury, they both have that, which is the motivation to write. But the Cancer gives this imagination of the home, the hobbit, the sensitivity, the shyness, the shyness, the security here, and everything else out there. The perfect Cancer setup. Just read the beginning of The Hobbit or Lord, you'll see it. The moon in Virgo is the fussy pickiness. Well, there was all sorts of little details and little fussy things, little expressions people would have. Like even when he was going into the Shire in the Hobbitville, there would be people being critical of them being different at all or having anything different at all. But there was an element of analysis. Like that mercurial moon makes it rationalize the thinking in very physical ways or critical ways. It's analytical rather than Pisces. So it's an interesting point. But the Cancer security, analyzing the Virgo, what's healthy, what's good, and what's disturbing this, and the Pisces ascendant. So the Pisces ascendant with a Saturn on the 12th house and on his ascendant, no, Saturn in his first house. That's the identifying to Mordor, to the kings that rule, to the authority that shouldn't be there. It's the Pisces ascendant looking at the morally at the Saturn. But I found that the Cancer ascendant and the imagination of that going into the Mercury in Gemini. No, it's the Mercury in Gemini and Cancer. 1 second. The Mercury is in Cancer. Yeah. So the Mercury in Cancer really fit. And is conjunct the IC, which is in Gemini, and motivated to write his personal story of what's secure and what's not secure. If you're looking at the Hobbit from points of security, all the dramatic demons, all the things, so they make such perfect contrast. You see them in such contrast, and you're feeling this feeling behind the Lord of the Rings. If you don't process that feeling way, it doesn't have the same appeal. This is a much more imaginative chart. A Capricorn it could magically be much more defensive when it wouldn't be as sympathetic where you sympathize with these crazy elements all meeting in complicated situations. So even when you're looking at Saturn on his ascendant, like opposing the decent, one ring to rule them all and then the darkness behind them. We could take this lovely attitude to marriage, attitudes, things, but I really like the ability to inspire and see something as detailed and as sensitive and follow the moods and the sensitivities of different languages, the different elves, the dwarves, the different kingdoms and things. Wow, that's really a Cancerian thing with a Virgo element added in. And then the imagination of a Pisces and it's thrown in. So I saw that he has the Pluto-Neptune conjunct. He's born right when Pluto and Neptune conjunct in Gemini, Northern Hemisphere, and Sag in the southern, but it's squaring his moon and Jupiter. So there's his understanding of the wraiths of the dark side and the dark things being there and the need to be critical and all the good things being destroyed, and the Virgo trying to find how to improve things, how to make it better, how to restore and fix the light when everything seems hopeless. I'll leave it. I'm not getting, any one of these would be fun to spend a couple hours just doing a chart and just working on it. But right now, I'm just, I watch my time. Yeah, we're okay. Good. Looking at the Southern Hemisphere, Northern Hemisphere. So these charts to me were very dramatically, you can intuitively see, oh, yeah, it's probably this. I think they're very good examples of the reversal. There are some that's not always so. When someone's on a full moon, they have both sides, the opposite signs already. When you switch it, it's perhaps a little harder to see. A new moon would be easier to see because they're both in the same. So this will fluctuate. But here you have Northern Hemisphere. Ian Thorpe, he won 5 Olympic golds at one Olympics. Like, he was just incredible. He just won everything. October 13th, 1982. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets, 6 points, including the sun, and the midheaven, 7 points in Libra. So there's the sun in Libra in the 10th house with Venus and sorry, my eyesight's a little bad here. Venus and Saturn, and we'll get to it in a minute. Okay, but yes, all these planets up in Libra with a Capricorn ascendant. So maybe he had the discipline to have to do it, but would make, and with the Leo moon, the need to be best. Okay, but you can see the Leo moon wanting to win, needing to win. But the style of someone with a Capricorn ascendant and a Libra is much more socially involved. It's not hardcore physical. As soon as you switch it over and you see 7 points in Aries, you can see how someone Aries is going to champion the world. He's going to take on things. He's going to do it. And the moon in Aquarius would add determination to know how to do it. But that point of being the win, being the best, and being the Aries, you could see someone with all that Aries in the 10th house having to do something physical and be the best and be accomplished at it and be working hard and disciplined at it at the expense of personal needs. He'd be driven to achieve his personal goals. Well, getting rewarded 5 Olympic golds, nobody ever did. He got it, he did it. He was untouchable. He just had worked so hard to be up for that moment. He was there and he just did it. Shocked everyone. But this is again the Libra to the Aries. We have 3 examples of that, I think, but it's not. If you're going to look at someone's chart with all the Aries in the 10th house or all the Libra in the 10th house, which one would you encourage to be physical or to do something physical and to challenge things and be aggressive and forceful and directed? I mean, just go swim, just go do it, 10 more laps, 10 more laps. It's not the way you would talk to a Libra. So here's the chart with Saturn and Pluto, Sun, Venus, Saturn, Pluto up in the 10th house after accomplishment. But there's nothing below the horizon. Here's a bundle chart. All up above the horizon to prove things out in the world he had to do. But he didn't have much personal depth. He only did that. Like down below, there's not a lot. He still has stuff there, but it's not the strongest. He's motivated by Libra, motivated by Venus up in the 10th in Aries. And his attempt to get achieved, to prove things to dad, to prove things to father, to prove he could do things, to get rewarded, to win the prize, to be the best and win the prize. He did it. And he's got to do it except because Uranus squares him, it doesn't fit in anyway, so he doesn't mind not fitting in. It's something he can do rather than be at home and listen to everybody. One Aquarius. But it does give the Cancer ascendant instead of the Capricorn ascendant, which you could see the water element. I can do all this in the swimming. The identification with the water comes in from that. Because the other chart, it was air and fire and earth, no water. The Northern Hemisphere chart. So you got to think about it. If it's the first time you're being exposed to this, you got to think about this. If it's not, you need to think about it. But just what's real. I'm fortunate that I've had visions to these really incredibly detailed charts and with color and with different things, and these allowed me to have a better. It's like I could look at this with a surgical knife as opposed to just a 12-house chart, like a bread and butter knife. I'm looking at more things. It took longer to study it. Well, I'm still studying it, but it's 50. I've been teaching almost 47 years now. 2, 3, 4, 5 nights a week. continuously. So I've been going over this stuff and over this stuff and over this stuff. And it forced me to grow, forced me to understand deeper things and more things, include more things. Don't know why, it just happened like that. Okay. This is Doris Grieve. She was the founder of the Federation of Australian Astrology, the founder of Australian Astrology Association, the first big organization in Australia. She built it up, set it up, was really, and maintained, was in charge of it until she died. She was really well established. She's July 29th, 1919. If you look at the Northern Hemisphere, Sun, Moon, Saturn, Neptune, Sun, and Jupiter all in Leo, and the midheaven, all in Leo. So that's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points in Leo. Is the midheaven right in Leo? Or 1 second. Yep. So, okay, so that she'd be in charge of an organization. Everyone that she was the queen and ran the show, and everybody loved her, and she did it so well. That was there, definitely. But if you were doing someone's chart with that, those are all in the 9th house. Being best for one's understanding and writing and teaching, showing people, organizing conferences and lectures, and she really did that. And in a way, it's partly in her aspect. She has the moon conjunct Saturn, opposed Uranus. She had to achieve something to change the world that she came out of. She didn't fit into a normal home situation. So that was there in both charts. But if you change this to someone with all those planets in Aquarius, with the Aquarius midheaven, you'd be much more inclined to encourage that person in Aquarius to go towards knowledge or towards organizing a group of knowledge or astrology. You would almost be encouraged to say that. With a Leo, you would be thinking, what else is there? You wouldn't think it would necessarily get that much attention. It could, but like this is, there's a way you can argue each side. She has both these charts. In her Northern Hemisphere effect, she would affect people in the Northern Hemisphere as if she was a Leo. But she was the knowledgeable person. To say she was the Leo, she just ran the thing as a misnomer. She knew her information and she studied and she built things up from that. And she made that information knowledgeable and made it accomplished and set it up so people could find it. She really structured her things. So she was much more strategic and Aquarian in building up the group, even though she was still high profile and ran it. So people related to her as the Leo, but I see her as the Aquarian. The Aquarian with the Gemini rising, instead of the Leo with the Sag rising. But it's Aquarius, Aquarius moon, Aquarius midheaven. It's 8 points in Aquarius. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 points in Aquarius. That's extreme. 8 points in Leo. The ruler, you can see, she's got that high profile nature no matter what. But around knowledge, around something as knowledgeable as astrology, once she locked into it, she was determined, she was consistent, and she held consistently. But got the magazines, got the journal, got the association going, all the Aquarian factors. Okay, so again, this is her normal chart on the computer where you just cross out the signs and put in the opposite signs. Imagine crossing out a Leo instead of highly putting to Aquarius. But it happens, the Leo is down in her home. And her motivation to be best, to teach the Leo in the 3rd house, to express herself well. But her power was in the organizing things, her understanding of astrology and what was right and wrong and how to align and who to align with. I believe she really liked some of the German astrologers, and with their midpoints and other things, she aligned and interpreted a lot of their material.